Hello and welcome to the incredibly influential and highly successful podcast. My name is Kale. I'm incredibly influential.
And my name's Danny, and I'm highly successful.
We had a bet before we started this recording. We
We
were
did
like,
not have a bet.
we did. We
Don't,
had a
don't say it like that.
$1 million bet that Danny now owes me, and you all witness. You all witness, right?
A
Right?
million dollar bet, he said.
$1 million bet, right?
No
Right?
such things happened.
In court, you guys are gonna vouch for me, right? You guys are gonna vouch, right? Huh? Uh-huh. Yeah. Yeah. um that Danny was gonna say that he is highly successful. We just knew, chat. I was like, I bet he's gonna do it, and you owe me $1 million if you do. And what does he do? He says it, which means that he's on the hook for $1 million. Okay, so he's on the hook for that, and I need you all to remember that. Okay, I need you all to remember that in episode 100 and 39. Okay, yeah, I want you all to
No,
remember that, okay?
no such thing
You
actually
you
happened.
you know what side you're on. You know what side you're on, gang. Right? You're on good old incredibly influential, right? You know? Huh? Huh? Yeah?
Don't
Come
say
on.
like you expect them to respond back to you right now.
I I what do you mean expect? I'm not asking them to respond. I'm just saying, when the cookies crumble, when the fucking, when the shit hits the fan, I just want to remind them, what side they're on, right? When when
Th-
the
This is
when
a
the
cooperative team here, not a.
is it?
I would think so.
No, it's I mean, well, then are you going to give me my $1 million?
Well, if such a bet was made, then I would, but
Which it was. Yeah, you're right. You're right. Yeah.
unfortunately,
You're no
I don't
no
think that happened.
Such
I
a
don't think
bet
a bet
was
will.
made. It was pretty cool. We were all like, "Yeah, I'll give you a
We're
million dollars if I say that I'm highly successful." You said, I'll give you $1 million, a million smackery doos. I'll do it." Is what you said. That's what you said verbatim.
that's what I said.
That's what you said verbatim.
Verbatim too is
Verbatim. That's what you
that's
said. Yeah.
you know what? Like
I
no,
know.
I
I
don't
couldn't believe it.
agree. I
I
don't
couldn't believe
agree.
it myself, really, to be honest. I couldn't believe it myself, to be honest. You
I
know,
also don't believe it.
that that makes two of us, but you did it. So, and the viewers will back that up, right, guys? Right? Right? Right?
Don't say
Right?
like you're like like you're
Uh-huh.
egging them on.
No, they agree with me. I don't know what to tell you. They agree. I'm sorry. I'm sorry to remind you, or to inform you, that they all agree with me. They love good old incredibly influential over here. They do. Speaking of things that I love, Danny and I have an announcement.
Okay.
I was
Yes.
trying to make it sound like we're gay.
Yeah, I was like, where is he going with this? I was kind
I
of
thought that was
curious.
pretty funny. I thought that was pretty funny. And what we did is kind of gay. We're fashion designers now, officially. I'm pretty excited
Officially.
to talk about this. We are launching our Teespring. I'm super stoked about this. Our Teespring is live. We have a whole bunch of designs, hoodies, t-shirts, mugs, stickers. We're really excited about it. We've got yeah, we posted about it on our social media today. This is Wednesday, as we're recording this, Wednesday the 22nd. And we posted already. It was really cool. We've got some cool stuff. um I've ordered some stuff for myself. Danny's ordered some stuff for himself. We're gonna put them on. We're gonna rock that shit. We're gonna wear that shit. It's gonna look awesome. So yeah, I'm really stoked about it. We've got the the we've got the hoodies, we got the mugs, we've got the stickers, we got the t-shirts. If you have any suggestions for what we should do, tag us on threads or social media and be like, hey, I'd buy blank, right? I'd buy blank in blank color or something. But yeah, we've got some really cool designs. I'm actually really proud. I think some of them look really, really cool. I think our I think one of my favorites is just the like the main logo for the podcast, um, but reverse color. So instead of white text on a black background, it's black text on a white background. On like a hoodie, I think it looks really cool. The unisex classic pullover, white with the black on it. Oh my god, it looks fucking sick, actually. And that's the hoodie I bought for myself. Danny went black background, white text, and I respect that. But yeah, we're all super stoked. But yeah, we were so we're talking about our Alaska trip that's coming up in June, and one of my sisters said talked about the fucking the we're doing t-shirts for it, right? And so I was like, shit, since this is basically going to be like a business trip, right? Since we're recording it and we're like doing stuff, right? Like we're going to be recording it, we're going to make a video out of it, shouldn't we fucking make a shirt for ourselves, right? So we can wear it around town, like wherever we stop, we wear like the hoodie or the t-shirt, right? And people are like, oh shit, cool. This is the incredibly influential and highly successful podcast, right? And so we have these like custom designs um that you and I we both had off yesterday because the polar vortex hit. Danny got 3 inches of snow. It was -8 for me. So neither one of us was having a good time weather wise, but we stayed inside. We got on the old computer. We hopped on a Discord call, and we designed these like these shirts for ourselves. They're not. I wouldn't say they're all that special. Like they're it's kind of high effort, low effort, if that makes sense, right? It's high effort to look low effort. Like we worked really hard to make it look the way we did. But we will show you guys what it looks like. And you know what? If you guys really want it, we might do like a limited run over on our Teespring. If you guys want a copy of the Alaska trip 2025 shirt. And maybe if we get some like compelling offers, or if we want to do like a charity thing, maybe we can like sell it. We can sell our original ones that we wore, right? So you're what, medium, Danny?
Yeah, I'm medium.
And I'm like double X. So fucking if those are your sizes or whatever, and you want to own a piece of IIHS history, maybe in a couple years after the trip, we'll fucking sell it. But yeah, I've designed all these new things. We have a new custom logo that Danny and I worked on together. That's sort of like shortened. It's the I and then the HS instead of the full text written out. But then we have like the full text written in the letters. It looks really cool. I like it a lot, and I think it looks really cool. And I think you guys will like it a lot too. And you'll look really cool wearing it, right? Like, Danny, I was talking to you earlier, and I think I made it sort of a priority, and I think you kind of echoed it, right? That YouTuber merch has this problem where it's like, it's not shit that you would want to wear out, right? But I think like if you really like this podcast and you wear these, right, I think they'll look pretty damn cool. You got some cool colors, some very neat, very minimalist, stylish designs. Really, I that's what I've always liked about our stuff, is it's been very minimalist and not a whole lot of like huge personalities and all that. And I think it's very stylish, and I think you guys will look pretty good wearing the merch. So definitely go check out our Teespring. We're going to be including it in the description of every episode going forward because, buy shit from us, please. Keeps the lights on, you know? And we have a code for the first month. So until February 22nd, use the code first month, all one word, at checkout for 10% off your order. and yeah, you can get some cool stuff. It's gonna be really cool. So definitely go check that out. Definitely get that stuff going, and get it. Get it while it's hot, because it's hot off the presses. But yeah, it's some really cool designs and some really cool, you know, like merch for us. We've got some cool colors and shit too. You know, um, and if there's any colors that you don't see that you think we should make, reach out to us and we'll see if we can do it. We'll the way Teespring does it is really weird, where it's like with every product that you make, you can only make 5 colors, right? So we'll have to start a new line. But if there's enough support for the color that you want, we can definitely do it. So yeah, just tell us what you want, tell us what you need, and we'll make it happen. But yeah, enough about that. This is this isn't the ad section. Um,
Starting to feel like it a little bit, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah, I'm sure it does. Sorry about that, but yeah, Teespring, it's cool, and so I'm proud of that. Also, another thing that I'm super happy about, I hit 1,000 subs on YouTube, over on the K Thugston channel. So we're at 1,000 subscribers there. We're monetized now. We've already hit some pretty decent revenue. It's some good stuff. I'm happy to finally be making revenue from YouTube. I've had like 4 or 5 videos come out per week, every week for years now. So I'm glad to finally be making some money on them. That's certainly fun. you know Only about, what, 3 years too late, right? Day late and a dollar short, but hey, we're here, and we've got some we finally got some revenue there, so I can sort of justify like actually working hard on videos again. So I had this video come out on Friday. It was sort of just like, Black Ops 2 was set in 2025. It was made in 2012. How accurate were the developers when they were like predicting, like, it's a shooting game, right? So how accurate were they when they predicted what guns would be used in the future? And so I just made a video about that, and apparently people liked it. So yeah, definitely, a lot of there's been a lot of people who viewed it. 61K views, 10,000 watch hours, right? And I got like over 300 subscribers from it. So yeah, and so a lot of big news coming this week, and I'm really really happy about that. Um, Danny, what have you gotten up to?
Um, well, obviously the ice storm kind of has kind of stopped my plans for the last couple of days. I usually go in on Tuesdays and Thursdays. It's just the second week of school, so it's not too big of an inconvenience, but still, I had to stay home yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
And I stayed home again today just because it's still pretty cold out. They also canceled school today as well.
Mm-hmm.
But besides, like, winter storm stuff, I did go do an escape room recently. I think Nick already saw it on my Instagram. It was one of the highest rated ones in Houston. I like looked it up. I like prepared it. I try my best to make it a surprise. I think Dylan might have figured it out, because it was a group thing, and whenever it's a group thing, it's a little bit harder to get all the loose ends kind of
Yeah,
taken
yeah,
care of.
yeah. Of course, of course.
I, I think somehow, some way, like somebody let it slip a little bit, but that's all good. It was a real fun time. It was a group of 6 of us, and it was the first escape room I've done with like a nice, decent sized group, and I think everybody was doing a good job of contributing. So we beat the escape room. It was a fun thing. It was a late birthday gift to my brother because I think I told you my brother went on vacation on like the weekend of his birthday.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah, so he was out of town then. That's why it was a little bit later. I ended up getting a decent amount of people together. I wasn't able to get everybody just because it's always hard to schedule things with people, either money or time or whatever.
Mm.
But it was so much fun. I had such a good time. And it was the first escape room that I've done that like I've actually finished. Because the other escape room I did a long, long time ago, it wasn't quite as good, and some of the parts of it were like not as well thought out. I think, right.
Um.
I can't remember exactly how far I got into it, but the part I think that sticks with me most is the part that included like this like magnet puzzle that didn't really work very well.
Yeah. Yeah,
And I
that's
hate
true.
I hate things like that where it feels like it's not even my fault. Uh
Yeah,
like I don't mind doing difficult puzzles, but at least make your puzzles work, right?
that's true. That's
So
true.
this kind of was a much much better experience. I'm hoping to do more escape rooms in the future as well after this one because it was so much fun. I definitely think that it's better in like a little bit of a bigger group. I think you probably could do it like one or two people, but I think the group makes it more fun.
Yeah, definitely. Um. Yeah, I've only ever done one escape room, and it was with my uh when I was in boarding school. It was with the dumbest people who lived there, or a lot of the dumbest people who lived there. And it was really fucking frustrating because I had to hard carry some very dumb people, and of course, all of us are valid. All the ideas are valid. So we're really held down by sort of you know mediocrity, mediocrity or worse. Let's say, let's say mediocrity or worse, just to cover all our bases. But yeah, um, yeah, it was certainly something. It can be fun, but you just have to do it um with a good group of people, and you also have to be like, hey, fucking this can ruin your friendships, right? You gotta keep that in mind, that people are, you can get really fucking frustrated with people. So it's yeah, yeah. Anywho, yeah, but yeah, I get what you mean. Escape rooms are pretty fun. I would do one if we got you, me, Dylan, Monica. I think that's a good 4-man team. I think that's
Yeah,
a that's a good
I
team
think
there.
four is a good number. I think I was also looking it up. The place where I went to do this escape room, they've been
Mm-hmm.
doing escape rooms for a couple years, but they only have like one escape room, right? Which is the
Yeah,
one that we did. But they just recently opened another one. But the
yeah.
way that it kind of sounded whenever I was like looking up on the website
Mm-hmm.
is that it is a one person escape room, and like if you go in a group it's like staggered times like by like 5 or 10 minutes,
I don't like that. That
which I thought
sucks.
which I thought was interesting. Like I think it could be like cool. You could still go as a group, obviously. It's just the staggered times thing, right?
Yeah.
I would need to look up more about that, like maybe reviews and see how people like it.
Mm-hmm.
That one I'm not as sure about though. It's a very interesting idea. I've never heard of like a something like that before.
That's true. That's true. Yeah, I don't know. It's just it's certainly something. It's an idea. I don't know. I Have you ever tried where they make like the ones that are like it's an escape room but it's in your living room, right? It's like a portable like escape room. They sell them at like Barnes and Noble and
Oh
shit like that.
yeah, like I've thought about checking out one of those because I do love like board game type of stuff.
Yeah.
I know they also have like the ones that are like murder mystery as well, like where you're solving a case. It's a very
Yeah.
similar kind of idea though, where it's just a whole bunch of puzzles.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know. Like I'd have to try it. I'm not entirely sure.
That's true. That's true, and I can see that. It's just yeah, it's like it's it all depends on like if you have the good rapport with people and if they're good at puzzles. If they're not good at fucking puzzles, then you're kind of shit out of luck. You're up shit creek without a paddle at that point. So you really have to make sure that you've got like the right group for it. Yeah, that's really like the big thing, right? If you don't have the right group for something, you're fucked. Because it's like imagine playing Monopoly with people who you don't know that well, and like it ruins your fucking friendships because you've you know like you've you get it,
Yeah,
because it's
I
fucking
think it
Monopoly.
was thankfully like whenever I play like to get things with people, like this escape
Hmm.
room or things like that, it's usually either very easy games or it's like competitive, right?
Yeah. Hmm.
But I there are like cooperative games that frustrate me to like no end. Like there's this game, I'm sure you've heard of it. It's called Chameleon.
I haven't actually.
You've never heard of Chameleon?
No, not that I
It's
can
the
think of.
worst game ever created.
I love it already. Please tell me more.
The way that it works and is that there is a card in the middle of the table,
Yes,
and
intriguing.
it's a 5 by 5 card. It has 25 different topics on it, and
Yes.
then there's a key on the top and on the left, right? Like it goes A, B, C, D, E, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right?
Okay.
So it's kind of like a battleship kind of thing where you have to like match number and letter. Now
Yeah.
everybody gets given a card at the beginning of the round, but only
Yeah.
one card is the chameleon. Now all the other cards has a key to read, right? So you roll these dice, you see what the two dice land on. You use those two dice to correspond to like this cheat sheet that you're given if you're not the chameleon, and then it tells you like D4, right? And then you look at D4 and you know, and everybody else knows it's D4, except for the chameleon. Whenever they look at their card, it just says you are the chameleon. That's all it says.
Uh-huh.
And the idea is that everybody goes around in a circle and they try to give a hint to the other people that know what the word is in order to kind of like absolve themselves of suspicion. But this is where the nuance of the game makes it really hard for people to kind of understand is that you have to also make your hint obscure enough to where the chameleon doesn't find out.
Yeah.
And people are really good at the first part of like freeing themselves from suspicion,
Yeah.
but they're really bad at the second part of making their hint obscure enough to not give it away to the chameleon. Because the chameleon can win in one of two ways. The chameleon can win if they're not, guessed at all, right? That's the easiest way the chameleon can win. The second
Uh-huh.
way the chameleon can win is if he gets guessed or she gets guessed and she says, "Okay, I know what it is. It's that," and they guess it right.
That makes sense. Yeah, yeah.
So, like I said, what usually happens in these games is I'll be playing with the group and I'll hear everybody's hint. And what'll happen is that sometimes it starts out well. Sometimes you get the first two people where I'm like, okay, the hint, it's like it's not like the most obscure hint. Like the chameleon can probably use them, but the chameleon's not going to guess it off of just those two hints, right? But
Yeah, that's fair.
then you get to that one or two people in the group where like they say Caesar on the food card, and like obviously it's pizza at that point. Everybody knows it's pizza at that point.
If you say Caesar on the food card and you guess pizza,
No,
you're
no, no,
shit tasted pizza.
no, 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 no. You're like it's Caesar's the hint, right? And pizza's the hidden word, right?
I would guess salad. I would guess the hidden word is fucking salad.
Yeah, salad might be on there, but again, you have to consider you have like depending on the size of the group you have 6 hints, and if the other hints don't correspond to salad, you can kind of eliminate salad, you kind of want your hint to kind of cover like half of the card, and you don't want to like do anything that cuts off too much of the card, or else the chameleon can kind of figure it out. In bigger groups, it's a little harder because the chameleon gets a lot more information. But here's where the game, like I said, the game really falls apart. Is that
Uh-huh.
if you get halfway across the table and somebody says Caesar, like also I didn't mention this, right? But the chameleon also has to give a word,
Yeah,
right?
that makes sense.
But they
Um,
don't know what it is, right? So
Wait,
depending
so if
on
they're
the
up first, they just have to say a random word then, right?
yes, that's the hard part about that's the hard part about being a chameleon is that if you're ever like first or second, it's so much harder for you.
Yeah,
uh,
that's not. Yeah.
right, right. But the reason, like I said, if you get halfway through the table and like let's say it wasn't the chameleon at that point, right?
Yeah.
The chameleon knows what the word is now, so now they can kind of cater their guess closer to what the word is, and then it makes it harder to kind of guess who the chameleon is. You know,
Yeah, I guess.
that's why it's really important that your team is all on the same page about not being too specific on the word. And
I,
I've never met a group of people who can do it well, which is why I think it's the worst game I've ever played. Because every
it's
time I
not
play it,
that
I get
bad.
so mad. Well, here's what happens, Kale, is that I give a hint. And my hint is obscure, but like it's obscure in a way that like it makes sense, but it's not super specific, right? But because everybody else in the game is giving more specific hints, they think I'm the chameleon. And then
Yeah.
I'm the one that gets voted out. But like the chameleon blended in because this person said something like I think that like in the version that I was playing, people were also doing like sound effects as well. So
Uh-huh.
somebody did like the Five Nights at Freddy's like laugh sound effect. I'm just like, it's pizza. We know it's pizza. Exactly.
Or.
Exactly, right? And I'm just like and like I'm like let's say the fifth person out of eight people, right?
Yeah.
And I give an obscure hint after the whole group knows that it's pizza. Right? Now I'm the one looking suspicious, even though I'm still trying to kind of be obscure. Person
Uh-huh.
like to the left or right of me says something like cheese, you know, and they turn out to be the chameleon because they already knew it was pizza by the fourth person. You see how it takes a really good team to make this game work, and I like I said like
Yeah.
maybe there's a team out there that I could play with that would make this game fun, but I've never found that group of people.
That's fair. You know, I can see that, right? Again, it comes back to you always have to have the right group, right? It's like when you're playing fucking it's like if you're playing Jackbox and half the people in the group just put the word penis, right? Like of course penis is objectively the funniest word of all time, right? Naturally. You know? We all know this, right? We
Yes.
yeah. So we all get it. And yeah, you know, but like it's not clever, right? It's not there's no wit involved in
It
just saying penis over and
depends.
over. And
It
I love
depends on the
saying
game you're
penis.
playing. It depends on the game you're playing because I sometimes feel like that type of humor really works and sometimes it really doesn't. It also, like I said, it depends on the group a little bit as well.
And also, even if it like works at the beginning, it gets old very fast. So you definitely have to keep an eye on that. But speaking of things we have to keep an eye on, it's time to go to the ad break where we can talk even more about products that you should buy, which is also similar to our Teespring. Buy our fucking Teespring, please, please. We work so hard on it, please. But yeah, ad break. Goodbye. We love you. Goodbye. This podcast is sponsored by Amanda Redwine, your no-nonsense talk therapist and parent coach, serving individuals and couples in both Illinois and Florida for counseling/therapy, as well as worldwide for parent coaching. Amanda's specialty is working with teens and young adults, as well as their family systems. Amanda has extensive experience working with youth who identify on the LGBTQIA+ spectrum. She has also done couples work based on a foundation of the Gottman method. She brings a light, no nonsense approach to treatment that is approachable and empathetic. She is unflappable and makes her clients comfortable from the very beginning. Find out more at www.amandaredwine.com. That's AmandaRedwine.com. Thank you again for sponsoring this episode, and back to the show. All right, we're back. It is now Friday. Happy Friday, Danny.
Happy Friday.
What all do you have left to do today before your weekend starts?
Well, I'm gonna finish up some more school stuff today. I
Mm-hmm.
gotta go to the store and buy some. I'm gonna buy. I think that it's like a baby shower on Saturday, and they said I think diapers for boys and wipes for girls. So I'm gonna buy one of those.
Mm-hmm.
And then tomorrow I got. Oh no, no, not the. It's gender reveal, not baby shower.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
I got. Yeah.
I was gonna ask, do you know if it's a boy or a girl?
Yeah, yeah, because I was like, that's not right. Yeah,
Yeah.
but I got that going on tomorrow. I think I might have told you uh last year that my cousin had a baby, and she
Uh-huh.
was the first one to have a baby, and the family really hasn't had any, babies in a really long time, right? My other cousin was the last one that was like born into the family. That was like 2010, right?
Uh-huh.
So that was really exciting. And then right after she had the baby, my aunt announced that she was also pregnant. So that's what this is all about. It's my aunt's uh gender reveal. So that should be pretty fun. But for
I see.
today, like I said, it's just gonna be probably just catching up on school stuff, maybe doing some housekeeping, like cleaning my room. I think I might do laundry, things like that, like just basic things.
Uh-huh. That's good. Yeah, get some basic stuff done. I can't really do much of anything right now, and it's really fucking honking me off, let me tell you. Cuz I ain't got a motherfucking debit card. My debit card that I have is it's fucked up, right? It's all fucked in the fucking dick hole, right? It's yeah, it's fucked up. So right now, I need my I need my new one, right? But it's not here yet because motherfucking Visa is taking their sweet ass time. So I can't really like buy food or anything because the only physical card I have is the fucking um the old one that doesn't count. And most places, most grocery stores don't take fucking Apple Pay, so I can't really like walk in and like Apple Pay and get some fucking food and shit. Most restaurants don't even take Apple Pay around here, so I'm kind of shit out of. So for now, I'm just kind of like coasting on what I have. Thankfully, my parents sent me some stuff for having really good grades last semester, and they got here kind of just in time. So I'm sort of coasting on that, but still, it's rough. It is really really fucking rough. I've been, kind of skipping the first two meals of the day. I'm gonna skip lunch. I've got a class that starts in about like an hour and a half. So we're gonna finish this. I'm gonna probably drink some water or have some tea or something, and then that's gonna be it, right? Like I don't have any fucking food or anything that I can really part with. So I'm not gonna eat until fucking dinner time, or maybe I won't even eat at dinner time, so that way I can go out to the club and get drunk, because getting drunk is easier on an empty stomach. And I think that's the fucking, you know, that's how it's gonna be, right? It's either like at this point, I've fully accepted that I'm a complete fucking gambling addict, because
Hmm.
I've done something today that I never thought I would do, and I feel a little bit gross about it, right? I'm doing penny stocks now.
Oh man.
I'm doing fucking penny stocks, and I hate myself for it. I don't feel good about it. It does not feel good to, you know, switch to fucking penny stocks and you know, like it's super volatile. It's hard to trade it at the right time. Um right? Cuz like Chase kind of works at like a or like I'm trading in very volatile things, and so Chase is going to be operating at a bit of a deficit in terms of like what it's showing you on the price because it's changing minute to minute, second to second, right? So you've got to be like on it when you're ready to sell. But you know, I made about like $10 today, you know, doing just various trades, and you know, it. I would say that if you have enough money to trade, uh, you could very easily make probably better than the federal minimum wage per hour if you're just like, you know, you're trading and then you take what you trade and you reinvest it, and you're really the I mean, like the strat is really volatile penny stocks that are just constantly changing, and then you buy at the right time, and you're like, okay, you just hold on to it for a few minutes, you wait until it's up, and then you sell it immediately. And you know, I it's day trading. It's day trading, and it's the dopamine hit of like making some good fucking money on a trade, making a good fucking trade. It feels so fucking good, Danny. You don't understand. It feels so fucking good, dude. You man, man. Oh my god. It's absolutely you have no idea how good that shit feels, Danny. Have you it's like sex, but usually when you have sex with someone you have to spend money. Maybe not, you know, like actively buying sex like prostitution, but you know, you usually have to spend money, you know, take him out on a date or buy him drinks or something, right? This is, you know, this is sex plus money. So yeah, I don't know. Danny, am I do I have a problem? do I do I have a problem? I think I have a problem.
I
I'm
think you also have a problem, but
I'm a little concerned that I have a problem. Yeah, I'm not happy about it. And the shit is, right? Like I've been trying to like do things that make it harder for me to like buy or sell, but like I'll do limit orders, right? I'll be like, okay, I'm kind of done trading this stock, right? Like I want to just leave it, right? I'll say if it hits this price during the day, sell it. Um but I get impatient and I'm like looking at it. I'm like, "Oh, I want it. I want it so bad." And like I just want that hit, right? I'm ready for it. And so I'm like, "Fuck it." So I cancel the order. I just did that on this penny stock that I've been holding on to for the past like 30-40 minutes, right? Or maybe more like an hour, right? And I've just been holding on to it, and it's been eh, eh, you know, like just bubbling under a profit for me, right? Like it's down like a little bit, and I don't want to lose any money on it, but like at the end of the day, I've already made some money, you know, with like trading today, so it's kind of just like fuck it, right? But like just it's hard to be on the ball when again Chase is operating at a deficit, right? And that's how I do my trading. I think you would need a very specialized trading app that is up to the second on the value, right? And then there's also the fact that there's like the bid price, the sell price, you know, that sort of thing, where it's like it's not quite being sold for what it's actually worth. It's being sold for like what people are going to pay for it, right? So it's kind of different, but yeah, it's I don't know. I don't know. I'm gonna make a trade right now. Right now, I'm gonna buy uh some I'm gonna buy some Raytheon. Raytheon's always been my ace in the hole, right? And it's down right now. I'm gonna spend I'm gonna spend $240 and we're gonna see if I can make a profit by the end of the day. And if I can make a profit by the end of the day, which is what, about less than 3 hours, right? Or that's at least when they won't let you do like fractional shares anymore. 4:30 Eastern, they're kind of like, all right, you're we don't do fractional shares. You can only sell full shares. So I'm gonna try and end the day around 4:30, and I just stop, right? So I can at least control myself there, but it's hard. It's really fucking hard to control yourself when you've got like just the volatility and the ins and the outs and the really strong dopamine hits that you're gonna get from like buying and selling and like getting a really good deal. I don't know. Danny, do you struggle with that on anything? Do you have any vices that you're sort of struggle to quit?
I feel like it's kind of like the same kind of very general thing that probably a lot of other people deal with, is that I think at some point in my life I got maybe a little too addicted to like screen stuff. So
Mm-hmm.
now, like whenever I'm not doing anything, will like just habitually like pull up my phone or turn on my TV, and
Mm-hmm.
I think that that's kind of having like a slight effect
Yep.
on like my focus, because it's
Mm-hmm.
not that I can't focus. It's just that it's harder to focus now, you
That's true.
know? Uh
Yeah.
and because I'm always bringing my phone around with me, it's not like I can just escape my phone necessarily.
Yeah.
Wait, so that's the toughest one. It's like whenever I go to like the school to study,
Mm-hmm.
it's a little bit easier because at the school I don't have as much distractions, but I still have my phone. So sometimes I still like will catch myself on my phone, like scrolling on Instagram or on
Mm-hmm.
YouTube, or whatever it is, right?
Yeah. I would say them at least there's do not disturb on the phone, right? But for me, right, like uh I'm always thinking about it. I can't put my brain on do not disturb when it comes to uh my money, right? My stocks, my bonds. I don't really have any bonds, but I probably
Yeah,
should be doing
I
bonds,
I think that's kind
honestly.
of what it is for me too, is that like I'm so used to like my brain always just having like that little tiny hit of dopamine from
Mhm.
the reels, the shorts, or whatever, right? That like I feel like I'm just kind of like used to it at this point. So now whenever I don't have it, I'm just like, man, I'm bored after like 5
Yeah.
minutes,
Yeah.
And that's
Yep.
not good, because I feel like it'd be nice to kind of just be able to sit and I don't know, do something a little bit uh you know
Yeah, productive.
not just productive, but just be able to do other things. Like I've been getting into reading, and I think reading kind of has helped a little bit,
Yeah.
but it is sometimes hard to like focus on the book. Sometimes I'll get distracted by things on the outside, or sometimes my mind will start running and I'll kind of like stop reading for a second.
Mhm.
So I'm trying to get better at that, and hopefully the reading works more and more. Because I
Mhm.
did hear, uh I watched a couple videos about like current event stuff, and I did see one of the videos. I can't remember when it was. It might have been a while ago, but it was about people saying like, I wish I had a better attention span because now I can't read books.
Yeah.
And I think it is a real thing, especially like for people that are younger than us, because I feel like we're at an like we were born at like a time to where like we're used to like both, before like phones got so big, and like
Yeah.
right after, right?
But the unfettered internet access. Oh man, it's something. It's something. It really is. It's a lot. It's a lot to like get your head working with, right? Like it's I struggle with keeping the like with being able to read, right? Like for me, I had to start a whole new YouTube channel to do it, right? I had to start that, and even then I can only read books that are in the public domain. So um uh the first my next book, I guess this is a cool announcement as well. You know, I guess this is the fucking announcements episode. I was thinking my next book would be All Quiet on the Western Front by Eric Maria Remarque. Um,
Mhm.
the first English translation just hit public domain this year. So the one by A.W. Ween Fawcett Crest is it just hit public domain this year. So it's yeah, it's gonna be. Oh shit! Why did he give me a bad grade? What the fuck? Hang on, I
Yeah,
just got a notification that I got bad grade. Fuck you. Show me what did I do wrong here? Whatever.
I
But
yeah, I kind of gotta lock in a little bit because I have two books that I have to read for class. These are books that I chose to read, but still, like I gotta make the time to actually read them, right?
yeah,
I'm reading the Odyssey, and I know a lot about the Odyssey just from all the different things that
cultural
include the
osmosis.
Odyssey, as well as I
Yeah,
think I've been on the Odyssey's like wiki page a couple of times, and I've read like synopsises of the Odyssey before to kind of understand those other things, you know. So I already know so much about the Odyssey. It's just I actually got to read it that way I can know all the little tiny details.
yeah,
And
of
then I got
course.
this other book for my class called The Penelopiad,
Yeah, it's yeah.
and that one it sounds like it's pretty good. Like it's Margaret Atwood, I think the same person who made Handmaid's Tale.
Oh, of course, it's her doing fucking bullshit, fucking feminism.
Uh,
Of
which you know
course.
I've heard that book before, so it must be good or must be known, right?
S- Good
And
and known are two different things. That's all I'm gonna say.
but from the synopsis of that book, I haven't read The Handmaid's Tale, but from the synopsis of this book right here, it kind of talks about some of the other perspectives in the Odyssey, including the I think the maids of the palace of Odysseus. It also talked about how the style of the style of the writing changes for each of the maids characters, right? So it'll go like I think it said like limerick, ballad, this, that, the third, you know, like a whole bunch of different poetic styles. So I think that'll be a pretty interesting read.
Yeah. Um it's it's some bullshit. It's some bullshit. That's what it is. It's some bullshit. That's
Handmaid's Tale or this book? Or
both of
Margaret
them.
Atwood?
All of her bullshit. It's fucking it's I mean, it's a different perspective, I guess. Um but it's sort of like mm, I guess it's more like it's a feminist reading, but I don't know. I guess spoilers for a literally millennia old book, but um Penelope when Odysseus is gone, Odysseus's servants sort of um you know, they uh, uh while Penelope is being suited by suitors over the 20 years that Odysseus is gone, um the servants are like serving them. You know, they're bringing things the from the storerooms and all that, right? You know, they're eating the king's food and drinking the king's wine, etc., living in the king's house, and the maids are serving them. And this is sort of revisionist history, where she's like, she's saying that like the maids are more blameless than they were, but at the end, Odysseus and Odysseus's son kill all of the servants who were serving the suitors, right? All of them, because it's treason. They're trying to usurp the kingdom from the king, right? It's fucking they're trying to bang the king's wife and steal the kingdom. So it is 100% uh like respectable and like you know, understandable to be like, no, all these suitors were aiding and abetting a bunch of traitors, and all the traitors are dead. So you put them all to the sword, all of them. And so, like, this is absolutely revisionist history where Margaret Atwood is like, oh, they're women. So I'm gonna revise the history and I'm gonna make them, I'm gonna make them out to be more sympathetic. But they're traitors and they help with traitors. Like, they suck. And I would say maybe if you're like, most of it is from Penelope's perspective, and I'm not entirely sure if it's exactly accurate to what we know about Penelope from the Odyssey, but like, what it's doing with the maids is bullshit. What it's doing with the maids is absolute bullshit. And Margaret Atwood is, what with um you know from the novel The Handmaid's Tale to the show The Handmaid's Tale, she's even willing to revise her own history to make, to make a more feminist thing, right? So in the novel The Handmaid's Tale, our main character kind of like is an observer, and then she sort of disappears. And then off screen things, happen, right? And like the dystopian version of America sort of falls apart off screen, and like the main character has nothing to do with it. But in the show, they're they've made her into a badass like resistance leader, and she's like resisting everything, and uh subverting the government and all that shit. And it's like, no, that's not what you wrote, Margaret. Stick to what you wrote. Don't revise your own bullshit. But I don't know. It's her fucking book. She can do whatever she wants. I'm just not going to read it or watch it or give a shit, because I think it's supremely overrated. I think there are ways to make the point that she's trying to make better than how she made them. But you know what? There are, sort of, I guess you could argue that given what what the American people have elected, right? There are some ways where The Handmaid's Tale is actually more subtle than reality. So what the fuck do I know? Take me with a grain of salt. Maybe I don't know what the fuck's going on. Maybe I'm an idiot, right? But from my perspective, the Penelope ad, is fucking not entirely accurate to the Odyssey, and it's sort of revisionist history to try and make a point. And she does that a lot. She loves making her little points. She's a point maker, And I would argue, like, she kind of gets the point that she's trying to make gets in the way of the story she's trying to tell, if that makes sense. Right? Have you ever noticed like that? Like, for example, here's another show that sort of a lot of people, and myself included, sort of feel that like the point that it's trying to make sabotages the story. And I would say The Boys, right? The Boys season 4 was widely seen as like a disappointment, right? Because people are like, oh, it's so not subtle, right? Oh, it's all political now, right?
Mm-hmm.
But then behind the presidential podium, Elon Musk threw up a fucking Sieg Heil twice.
Yeah.
So what the fuck do we know about subtlety? Reality isn't fucking subtle. Everyone's a fucking Nazi, and they're not subtle about it anymore. So what the fuck do I know?
It could have just been like a very bad dab.
That would be actually the worst dab in history. I'm gonna be honest with you.
Because he forgot the second half of the dab. You can't just do a one-handed dab, or else it doesn't look good.
Yeah. It one might say it almost looks like you're throwing up a Sieg Heil if you do that.
Exactly. Yeah. I
And
saw that
that's-
clip and I was like, that's crazy. They just let him do that too.
I mean, who's gonna stop him, right? They're not gonna be like, Elon, get down, and like the Secret Service is gonna like fucking tackle him for throwing up a Sieg Heil. But you know, it's not, it certainly doesn't look good. And you know, Donald hasn't gone in and been like, I don't endorse this. I'm not a Nazi. All right, folks. It's okay. You
I
know,
didn't follow everything that happened super closely, but I did see a clip of a reporter going up to Donald Trump, and a reporter said, "I heard that you're ending the war on Ukraine. Are you still doing that?" And it was like, and he's been sitting in the office for like a couple hours, and Donald Trump just said, "Well, we still got half a day left." And I was like, "That's some confidence right there." I don't think he ended up doing anything that day, though. I still don't think he
no,
has.
he didn't. He hasn't really done anything for Ukraine.
But what a response, you know what I mean? That's our president.
Unfortunately, yes, that is our president, and the majority of the United States chose this. You know,
It
or
is
I guess the
strange.
plurality.
Yeah. I think that Donald Trump really doesn't push a lot of the things that the majority wants, but the majority still voted for him. So I'm like,
Because they're retarded.
yeah.
The majority of people, you know, I have this cool ability, right? Um, you know, I try not to tell people about this all the time because you know it's kind of secret. I have this cool thing. It's called the power to remember things, right?
Ooh, yes, yes.
And fucking, I was there in the first 4 years of Trump. I was there. I remember all of it, right? Uh, does anyone else remember when Trump gave classified intel from our allies to the Russians in the Oval Office? Apparently, fucking not, but I do. I fucking do. I'm I don't know. I don't know fucking anything. Apparently,
I think
I'm
that Trump is just a businessman, and he had the better sales pitch. That's really what it is. I think that it's come down to because I think a lot of Americans probably don't do enough research or like know enough about politics to really make a nuanced decision. So they're just like,
yeah,
that guy sounds like he knows what he's doing.
yeah.
I'm gonna
The
vote for him. You know?
there's a quote that I like. It was from some guy. Uh some guy who I think he was from Iran or something. And he was talking about how democracy is, you know, government of the people, by the people, for the people. But the people are retarded. So like what are we getting out of this, right? And it's like nothing good. We're certainly not getting anything fucking good out of this shit. So that's where we're at now. That's where we're at now. We're fucked because the median voter in this country is a fucking imbecile. We are we live in a country full of fucking morons. So there's really nothing we can do as a society other than just, you know, we made this bed, fucking sleep in it, right? You know, either that or we do something about the fact that half of our people are, you know, complete fucking imbeciles or don't care enough that they'll let the imbeciles take over. You know, so there needs to be a little bit of chlorine in the gene pool. That's what we
See,
need.
all we need to do, Kale, is become upper class citizens, and then then politics works for us instead of against us. It's just the lower class citizens that really get the short end of the stick. Because I hear like the rich are getting tax breaks, and the rich are always getting richer. You know what I mean? Like that's we just got to get rich, and then
What do you mean get rich?
uh, well, I feel like become that like top 10%. That's what we need to be.
What do you mean become? What do you
You
mean by that?
know, you know.
What are you referring to by that? Is this some kind of poor person reference that I am too rich to understand? Is that
So going back to like what you were saying before about how sometimes the message can ruin the story, I don't have any problem against like messages of people trying to do things, but I do think that there is a way to do it to where it doesn't take away from the message necessarily.
or it doesn't take away from the story?
Yeah, but both, because I feel like if you like, you've probably seen like the vegan protest videos where they do
Yes.
absurd things, right? And that
Yes.
doesn't make me want to become a vegan. That actually does the opposite. It's like, oh,
Yeah,
I
it
don't
makes
want
you
to be a
look like a
part of
fucking
that group,
loser. Yeah.
And I feel like people need to understand there's a way to get your message across without like diminishing your message and also the people of your group, and
Mm-hmm.
also like a story if in case of like a show or a movie, right?
Yeah.
Like another one, another good example is the Barbie movie, which I really enjoyed the Barbie movie up until the point where I felt like it got very, very, very like message and preachy,
Preachy. Yeah.
heavy, right?
When America Ferrera got an Oscar nomination for looking at the camera and being, here's all the reasons why being a woman is harder than being a man.
I don't think that it's a bad scene. I just feel like it doesn't fit in with the rest of the movie and what the movie was doing up until that point. The movie was doing a lot of like very subtle kind of like hints and jokes towards the message, They were all aiding the message, but
Mm-hmm.
they weren't so, like I said, preachy about it. It was a lot more subtle. The thing is, I think that when it comes to movies and shows and just things in general, like people who make movies and shows don't think the audience is smart enough to get the message, so they have to like really be like, "Here's the message, guys." And I feel like that
Yeah.
really takes away from the overall product.
Yeah. That's true. That is true. Um, I think you'll also notice in the Barbie movie, and you kind of once you notice it, you won't be able to like unsee it. But everyone in the movie is either like gay slash woman coded or like uh sort of shown to be kind of a bumbling idiot, right? Like all of the every male character, every like non-gay coded male character is kind of a bumbling fucking doofus, right?
Yeah.
The fucking Alan is the only man in the movie who isn't sort of made out to be like a joke or an idiot, right? Like even the fucking dad, right? Even the dad, uh, who's like the white dad who's married to America Ferrera, and is the father of the child, right? Even him, who's like learning Spanish to better connect with his like wife and daughter, right? Like whenever he like tries to like say something in Spanish, they just fucking belittle him and make fun of him for it. And it's just like, dude, what the fuck? Like what's the message here? That fucking people of like white culture, no, just don't bother like learning the language or learning to work with people of other cultures because you're just white, so you'll fuck it up. And it's like, dude, what the fuck, right? Learning.
Yeah, and I think that's another thing that kind of makes the Barbie movie like a really weird kind of topic, is that it doesn't feel like it really caters to like one audience. It feels like it's trying to cater to all audiences, and by doing so, it kind of caters to none. You know what I mean, right?
It
Because
does.
you can write off a lot of like the very silly, like dumb characters to being like, oh, it's a kids movie, it's supposed to be funny, right? And then you get
Hmm.
to like the preachy parts, and it's like that's not really a thing that I feel like you would put in a kids movie, right?
Exactly. I
So
agree with that.
the tone shifts so much at certain parts of the movie, and it's like, who are we aiming for?
Yeah. It's really ironic that the big song from that movie is called What Was I Made For? Because that's exactly how I feel about that movie.
No, the big song for that movie is "I'm Just Kidding."
Oh, you're right. Sorry. Sorry. The one that won the Oscar was What Was I Made For? The one that should have won the Oscar was I'm Just Ken. Mark
That's right.
Ronson fucking cooked.
"I'm
Mark.
Just Kidding" is such a good song.
Oh, by the way, Oscar nominations, real quick. We've got about fucking 30 minutes left in the show. I think we're gonna skip the big red button. We're gonna talk about the Oscar nominations. They're
We
kind
don't
of
have 30 minutes
spicy.
left in the show. This is the second half.
No, well, we have 30 minutes before I have to fucking go to class. So
Oh, okay, yeah.
yeah, we've got 30 minutes of time to fucking cover this. Um, it's really contentious this year. And we're kind of on the subject of people trying to pass a message and it sort of fucking up the story. um I would recommend looking up the list for yourselves, because we're only going to talk about the big highlights here. Maybe next week we'll do sort of our Oscar nomination locks, and we'll be like, all right, here's what we're locking for best picture, best director, blah 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 blah, right? um but like, just going over the highlights right now, you know the big movie, the huge fucking movie this year is Emilia Perez, right? It's got 13 nominations, which is the highest amount for a non-English language film, right? So it's higher than Wicked. Wicked only got 10, right? That fucking Bob Dylan movie, that one only got 8, right? And usually the Oscars loves those fucking musician biopics, right? And it's fucking crazy. But yeah, so Emilia Perez is nominated for so many things, but people, so do you know what it's about?
Do I know what?
Emilia Perez, the movie. Do you know what it's about?
No, you see, like this is why it's really hard for me to participate in the Oscars, is because I don't watch a lot of the movies that they talk about. I know about like Wicked, but like besides Wicked, I'm trying to even look at. I'm looking at like a list of movies here, and I don't even think I've watched any of the other movies on Best Picture.
So Emilia Perez is a Spanish language musical that's about a Mexican cartel uh uh like gang member who wants to disappear and transition into a woman. And uh so obviously the largely white male members of the Oscars are like, oh my god, that's perfect, right? Trump got elected, so we have to nominate the shit out of this movie, because it's woke, and we got to be anti-Trump, right? um but the both the Mexican people and the gay people are like, no, this is super inaccurate. This is really racist and transphobic, uh, and like not very accurate to the trans experience. So it's really fucking funny that like they've done like they if it had gotten, I think, 2 more nominations, it would be tied for the most nominations of any film ever, right? Because I think the most was 15. So it's really fucking like everyone's all in on this, because again, it's the woke movie. It's the woke movie. We got to do the woke movie because Trump won, right? We've got to, but
Yeah, I kind of going back to like what I was saying before, and I'm pretty sure I've told you this on a previous episode as well. We've gone over this whole movie thing, but I think that it's really important to talk about these issues. It's just
you have to
people
do it
kind
right.
of yeah, people you have to do it right, and you have to like it's very important that you respect the community, That's a very important part of it, right? You
Hmm.
can't just be Netflix and be like, I want to put gay people in my movie, that way I look better to the gay community, You actually got to work with people in the gay community to kind of make sure the message doesn't come off wrong, which a lot of the times in a lot of movies it does.
Yeah. So
Now, I haven't watched it. Have you watched it?
uh Amelia Perez? No, fuck no. And I'm
No.
not going to. I'm not giving them any money
Yeah,
because
but from what it sounds like, at least, just from the different perspectives you gave, right? Like the gays and the trans, they don't really like it. It sounds like it didn't really do its job.
no, it didn't. It's a fucking cis guy who I believe he's straight too. So a cis straight white French dude is trying to tell the fucking story of a Mexican trans cartel leader, and it's not it doesn't really work, right? So it yeah.
Yeah, that's another thing. I don't really know about the nuance of this as much whenever it comes to like like casting the decisions for certain roles.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like a white person could play,
No. It's the director, the writer, and he wrote the libretto uh for the thing. So this is all basically one fucking dude. Like this is all one fucking dude. His name is Jacques Audiard. Um, don't correct my pronunciation. I don't give a fuck. Fuck you, French people.
like
And yeah,
it it seems like a very controversial topic to cast people in positions where like they don't feel right in terms like for the audience, right? And I've noticed a lot more like in recent history that white characters are being recasted into other races because a lot of things made in the past were like majority white people, right?
hmm
I get that, but people also seem to have a problem when it is done the opposite way around in certain cases.
yeah, it's called whitewashing.
You know, and I feel like I don't know where like the line needs to be drawn to where everybody can be happy. I think everybody's just gonna be mad, to be 100% honest with you. I don't think you
Yeah,
can make everybody happy.
everybody's gonna be mad fucking for the rest of time because the internet makes it really easy to be mad because anger sells clicks, and the angrier people are, the more clicks you get. So the entire internet economy is based on people getting fucking angry. So that's where we're at. We're fucked. That's just how it is.
Yeah,
And
it seems like an issue that I understand, but at the same time, nobody offers us a solution to. So
yeah,
it's like, why
well,
argue if you're not gonna at least offer criticism?
but the issue with Amelia Perez is not about it is usually hasn't been about the like
The casting.
yeah, no, because they got a trans woman to play the trans main character, right?
Okay.
It hasn't been about that. It's been about the writer and the director, who is a fucking white, presumably straight. I haven't seen anything one way or the other vis-a-vis that, but just by like statistically speaking, he's probably straight. Um, you know, straight white French dude trying to tell a story about shit that he knows nothing about. And honestly, right, it's sort of like when people are like uh it's sort of like what you said about the whitewashing and the blackwashing thing, right?
Hmm.
um about like people say that people should be casted of the same like color, right? Because it's more authentic to like the experience, right? So like you wouldn't have a white dude playing a black character. You wouldn't have Ryan Gosling, myself, playing Nelson Mandela because um because I'm not a black South African, right?
Hmm.
But you know uh and it's like I normally am pretty like laissez-faire on that. I think that I feel like Daniel Day-Lewis could play Nelson Mandela. I wouldn't want him to do like blackface, but like I
No, no,
think
no,
he
no.
could do it.
Yeah, obviously, if it's like a black story, like it's like a story that's written about people in like a black neighborhood, it would be weird to like recast them with like all different races, you know? It
Yes.
just it wouldn't fit. But like in movies and in roles where it's not about the race of the person, it's just they happen to have a black actor in the original version of it, and maybe you're trying to like remaster it, or
Yeah.
a black person in like the book version of it or whatever, right?
Yeah.
If the race doesn't matter, I don't see why it should matter whenever they recast it, you know?
Yeah. Colorblind casting in like a modern setting is like I don't really care about that, right? If there's just like a character where like the race isn't important, cast fucking anyone you want. It's not woke to make them gay or trans or anything like that. That's not fucking woke. It's a non-issue. But when you are, writing, directing, you have basically like almost complete uh uh control over a story, and you have literally no fucking connection to this thing, right? You're going to attract increased scrutiny, right? If you are a white cis man telling a story about a Mexican cartel leader who transitions into a woman, you need to get it very accurate because you will have increased scrutiny. And from what I've heard from trans people, from Mexican people who are like, hey, this is fucking terrible, right? He did not land that, you know? He's writing in a language that isn't his own. Um, it, the libretto is in Spanish. He's French. Fucking, I have 601 days on Duolingo today, but you don't see me writing a fucking opera libretto in Spanish, right? Like you don't fucking see me doing that, right? So I'm not, yeah, I don't know. So, but the Oscars are all basically cis white American English speaking people. So they're not going to get all the nuances of how it sucks as a trans storyline, or how it would suck from a Spanish language perspective, or like a cultural perspective, right? They're not going to get it. So
Well,
they
I
think
think
it's
it's
authentic.
that, but I also think that it's really tough to be a public figure and like you're put on the spot like that in a lot of cases because they kind of just say what they think they should say, if that makes sense, right? More than what they really believe a lot of the times, right?
Yeah.
I'm sure you've seen like a lot of companies around June will change their logos to rainbow things, but I doubt that the companies really care that much. It's more just for the public perception. And the thing is the same thing with actors as well, right?
Yeah.
It's more about public perception than how they really feel about things, you know?
Yeah. So here's sort of a nuance that people probably won't get, right? So the main character is portrayed by Zoe Saldana, right?
Hmm.
Gamora from Guardians of the Galaxy, Uhura from the Star Trek reboots, Neytiri from Avatar. You know her, you love her, right?
Hmm.
Um uh Here's, and she's Hispanic, right? She's absolutely Hispanic, Hispanic ancestry. um but they have her, who is, by her own admission, 3/4 Dominican, 1/4 Puerto Rican, playing a Mexican attorney, right? And so white, elite Hollywood people might not get the nuance, but a Dominican is going to look very out of place in Mexico. Someone who is predominantly Dominican looks very out of place in Mexico, because in Mexico, there are not a lot of black people, but a lot of Dominican people are very heavily African American in their uh, ancestry, right? So like descended from African slaves who were brought to the Dominican Republic and to Haiti. Well, together it's called Hispaniola. It's the whole island, but like a lot of the population on both sides of the island were slaves, or were descended from slaves, um, or they were slaves, hundreds of years ago, and now you get what I mean. So a like they'll be like, oh my god, there's a woman with a vaguely Spanish sounding last name in the main role. It's so authentic to the culture, but they're missing a lot of that fucking nuance, right? They're missing a lot of that nuance, so it's not very accurate. But again, it's the woke movie, and Trump won, so all the anti-trope Oscars are gonna fucking uh give it, they're gonna heap it with rewards. It's the same thing they did with Black Panther. Black Panther is not even close to being worthy of a best picture fucking film, but because it's black and it made a lot of money and Trump was in office, they had to give it a lot of money, or a lot of awards. That's just how it goes. That's just how it fucking goes, you know some of the better movies of the year got completely fucking snubbed. um Nosferatu should have been Best Picture, or should have been in the running for Best Picture, but nope, it's not. Not gonna happen. Sorry. No no fucking no uh no almost no even nominations for Nosferatu. It only has 4, which is bullshit because Nosferatu is fucking awesome. Go watch Nosferatu.
My
Go watch.
brother, my brother watched it. I think he said it was all right. I don't think he said it was the best thing ever, or like
He's never
I had
seen
to
the
watch
original.
it. Maybe that's why he didn't like it as much. But he was like it was all right.
He's never seen the fucking original. Go watch Nosferatu. It's awesome. Honora, The Substance, both pretty good. Um,
He was
uh,
saying he liked Nora a lot.
Honora was very good. Honora is very good. Um,
Yeah,
now
the only
here's
one
the
I watched was like Wicked.
Jesus fucking Christ. This man lives
I
under a rock. Actually,
I only watch movies during like the latter half of the year because that's whenever all like the movies usually come out. Like for the rest of the year, none of the movies really pique my interest, and it sounds like
in the latter half of the year is when you watch movies. Correct? Is that what you just said?
last year, not every year, but last year that's how it happened.
Uh, Nosferatu came out in
Yeah, I know it came out like
Christmas.
December, but
Christmas.
I was also doing Christmas stuff. I had my trip to Costa Rica. I missed a movie that my brother went to go see without me because I was in Costa Rica.
The Substance came out on my birthday last year, 2024. Um, fucking Complete Unknown came out in what was that? November or December? December.
I watched
Yeah.
The Return, which is a movie.
I'm calling bullshit on you watching movies. I don't watch a lot of movies anymore. I'll say that. I don't watch a lot of movies.
I
And
don't watch a lot of
fucking
movies, but I watched a few. Like I said, last year, I watched The Return, which is one that I thought was really good. That
yeah.
did you hear about The Return?
No. Here all right, here's the shit that pisses me off, right? Here's the shit that pisses me off. Okay, all right. Never mind. All right. I was going to say uh in a lot of earlier years they'll do the best foreign film um is a category they call it best international feature. Doesn't work because they don't count anything from England as international. It should still be called foreign language film, but they wanted to change it to be woke because, of course, right? They wanted to change it to be more politically correct. So they changed it. But anyhow, they usually in years past, one of the films in best international feature would also be nominated for best picture. And it's like, why even bother inviting the other people for best international feature if we know that only one of them is good enough for best picture? But they didn't do that this year. They nominated 2, right? They nominated 2, but obviously uh Amelia Perez is probably going to win. That's going to be my lock for best international feature is going to be Amelia Perez. It's fucking because I hate the Academy. I hate every single voting member of the Academy. I do. I fucking despise them. Absolute fucking morons. Brain dead fucking morons. But yeah.
Are,
So
yeah,
um,
yeah, yeah. Are
uh
do you want to wrap up, or you think that we got
yeah.
a little bit more to talk about? Because I think this probably is gonna be a long episode.
It's a little over. It's not that bad. But anywho, we'll do our locks next week. We'll do that. It'll be cool. It'll be fun. We'll
Yeah,
yeah,
we'll have our informed locks and our uninformed locks next week.
we might watch some movies in between and we'll fucking we'll try and be a little bit more informed by then, but who knows? Who
Well,
can really say?
no, I'm gonna be the uninformed lock. That's what I was implying.
Yeah. All right. Okay. Well, as a old straight white man, I believe I hold the advantage. Because I know exactly how the fucking Academy thinks.
You
It's
count yourself as an old straight white man?
yeah. I'm 20. I'm gonna be 23 this year. I'm fucking ancient.
No, you can't be old because then that means I'm old. And I don't want to be old yet.
You are old.
No, I don't want to be old yet.
Decrepit. You decrepit old
I don't think I become
motherfucker.
old until I'm 27. That's like whenever I think you can start calling me old.
I feel ancient. So
That's the number that I've declared is the old number because that's like late 20s. 26 is technically late 20s, but like it's like not late enough, you know.
Well, I feel fucking ancient, so that's just how it is. But anywho, we'll do our locks next week. I'm gonna at least watch 3 of these. I'll commit to watching 3 of these before we record our locks. So I don't know. I'll probably watch Anora or Substance later today. I'm gonna commit to watching Anora, The Substance, and Complete Unknown. I'm gonna watch those 3, and that'll be it. But yeah, I've got no faith in the Academy. I think they're absolutely going to give it to Emilia Perez. Maybe not Best Picture, but they're going to shower it with awards because again, the fucking it's got to be woke. It's got to be woke, right? And like I don't like throwing around the woke term, right? I don't like it. But there's really no better description of this where it's trying to be PC and trying to like showcase these minority voices but doing it in a white people way. And I feel like that's my definition of what the term woke has come to mean, because obviously it doesn't mean the same thing that it did. It's been changed and ground up and chewed on and spat out to where the meaning means nothing like what it used to be. But I think it's the quote unquote wokest movie, and given that again Trump won, that's what we're gonna get. So don't be optimistic for the Oscars. Don't be optimistic in general. We're fucked. America's fucked. The world is fucked. Yeah. Goodbye. Time to do our fucking bullshit now. Remember, like I said, we are now selling things on Teespring, so head on over to what's the fucking link again? It's a weird link. Hang on. It's in the description. Danny, talk about the Patreon real quick.
Guys, we have a Patreon.
Thanks. It's iihspodcast.creator dash spring.com. The link's in the description. We've got 4 lines right now. We've got a nice IIHS logo, and then we've got like the main logo that we use for the podcast. We have them in white text and black text, and then like the color reverse, that sort of thing. So we've got 4 listings. We've got mugs, shirts, hoodies, stickers. I think they look really sleek, really cool. We worked pretty hard on the logos and stuff like that, and the designs, and I think they look really cool. So go check them out. Use code first month. It's valid until February 22nd. So go nuts. 10% off your order. If you want to join our Patreon, we are patreon.com/IIHS podcast. If you join our $3 tier, you get access to part 1. So up to the ad break, as soon as it's done being edited. So you could have heard it on, what was it, Wednesday, right? But if you're, if you've really loved this show, if you really want to support us, join our $5 tier. You get to hear the whole episode early and ad free. So you get to hear it on fucking Friday instead of, Tuesday morning. What? You could have been listening to this on Friday afternoon. You could have been like, hell yeah, new podcast, right? You can listen to this while you're getting ready to go out on Friday night. Fuck yeah. Or, stay in, which is probably more likely, for fans of this show. But hey, I ain't judging, But yeah, you could have been listening to this early. Plus, we have a whole bunch of movie commentaries, the first 2 Transformers movies. I'm going to get him to watch the third, I promise. I don't care what kind of...
My brother was trying to make me watch Transformers the other day, and I said never, never, ever, ever.
Okay, me and Dylan are going to make you watch Transformers. It's going to be really cool. So Transformers 3, eventually, it'll be on there. But yeah, so movie commentaries, early and ad-free. There may be future deals for the Teespring on there as well, so definitely go check that out. Yeah, so patreon.com/IIHS podcast. We are also at IIHS podcast on Blue Sky, Threads, Instagram, and YouTube. We try and have these episodes out on YouTube on the same day. Following us on social media is the best place to get topic suggestions, Q&A, general updates about the show. You know, if you want to know if we're gonna miss a week, that's gonna be the best place to go. So head on over there. Any of those, we don't use Twitter because fuck Elon. Cannot
X.
reiterate. Yeah, cannot reiterate enough. Fuck Elon Musk for ruining Twitter. My name is Kale. I've been incredibly influential.
My name's Danny, and I've been highly successful.
And now that I'm done recording with Danny, I can add this in and say, it is Twitter. Fuck you. I win. You bitch. We'll see you guys next week.